Islam Makhachev is defending his belt for the fourth time, and he's going to be doing it against the number one contender, a proven fighter, and that's Arman Tsarukyan, a guy who's in his prime, a guy who he's previously fought on short notice, where Tsarukyan was able to win a round and really prove that he belongs there. Okay, Tsarukyan was 22 back then. Now he's clawed his way all the way back up to the top, and he's the number one contender, and he's going to be taking on Makhachev, who is proven to be one of the best skilled fighters we've ever seen. And today, man, I'm going to be breaking down both fighters, what they do good, what they do bad, and ultimately giving my prediction in the end. So, yeah, I'm going to get right into it. First up, I'll be talking about the challenger, Arman Tsarukyan. Look, man, I'm going to the debut fight. 22 years old, short notice, which do you see any Makhachev or Khabib's camp do short notice fights? They never do any of them. They just pull out of fights, right? You never really see that happen. It's very, very weird to me. But anyways, short notice against Makhachev, highly touted prospect who people were looking at as future champion. And he is a future champion. He is a champion right now. So he was the first person to take Makhachev down. And I believe still the only person to be able to get Makhachev to the mat. And there were some crazy scrambles, a very, very high-paced fight. And, the reason that Arman kind of lost, I'm not going to say the whole reason, but he gassed out, okay? Especially towards the end of that fight. There were issues with the cardio, but that's what you'd expect on a short notice fight. I mean, right? I mean, short notice. But, he still looked good, right? The third round, he got taken down and reversed, and he was held down there, and he was just too tired to get up. Now, if you can hold Tsarukyan, the current Tsarukyan, on his back for multiple minutes, I don't think you can, okay? So I believe, honestly, that the better wrestler here is going to be Tsarukyan, okay? I'm not going to go out and say he's a much better wrestler, but I will give him the slight edge in the wrestling department. We've seen Tsarukyan be able to get a ton of guys to the mat, and I believe he is the more explosive guy with the takedowns. He's faster. He's slicker with the takedowns. And in this fight, man, do I expect him to get Makhachev to the mat? I don't think so, but I think we're going to see some crazy scrambles. But if anybody is getting someone to the mat, especially early on, I think it'll be Tsarukyan. I don't think Makhachev is even going to really shoot that often, honestly. But when it comes to Tsarukyan's striking, there's some good things I like. There are some bad things I like. Or not I like, but look, man, his striking is okay. His technique is pretty good. My main problem with his striking is not really his striking itself. It's him not believing in his striking, okay? In that Charles Oliveira fight I go back to, he was having a lot of success on the feet. He was doing well against Charles on the feet, and then he shot a takedown, which, look, man, you can take Oliveira down, but obviously there's danger in that, right? You saw him lock up the anaconda choke. You saw him lock up the guillotine, right? Very, very close submissions that you might as well just stay away from, right? Why would you even test it? But he's willing to go down there, which is a good thing, right? But he didn't need to because he was doing well enough on the feet, right? And I do worry about that a little bit because I think he is a competent enough striker to go out there and stand with Makhachev. I don't think Makhachev is out of this world striker, but I do think Makhachev's a little bit better. But look, man, Tsarukyan, his technique on his punches, not the best, okay? He has good straight shots. I do worry about his close boxing, his pocket boxing specifically. He doesn't really have it, okay? But Tsarukyan is a kicker, okay? He likes to kick a lot, likes to kick often. He's very flexible, able to get his legs up high, kicks very, very hard as well. So you got to watch out for the lead kick. You got to watch out for the rear kick. And in this fight, the rear kick is going to be there due to the open stance matchup. But, man, the wrestling of Tsarukyan, the grappling of Tsarukyan, I do believe, like I said, is a little bit underrated, man. He's willing to take a lot more chances than Makhachev, and even overall, okay? I do think that when it comes to the grappling, when it comes to the striking, Tsarukyan is willing to take chances. He needs to be willing to take chances, but he does on the mat, okay? He does take chances on the mat where he wants to put himself in a better position so he can land ground and pound. And, man, his ground and pound is really underrated to me. I think it's very, very good. And I don't know if he's going to go out there and ground and pound Makhachev, but if he can get into a position where he can get that kind of position, it's deadly, man. He's got great elbows, great power on his shots from that position. And look, man, I do worry about some things with Tsarukyan. Specifically, the one time he's fought a 5-round fight was Mateusz Gamrot, where the high-paced fight. Look, man, high-paced. Gamrot's a guy who can scramble like crazy, similar to this matchup a little bit, but he did have some issues in that fight where he was kind of just taking Gamrot down for no reasons. Another reason why don't you just stand, right? But look, man, Arman's a good fighter. He's definitely got a chance in this fight, without a doubt. But that is going to be my breakdown for Arman. The number one pound for pound fighter, Islam Makhachev. Now, when you look at Islam Makhachev, he reminds you of a really balanced guy, okay? When you look at the balanced fighters in the UFC, guys that can do it all, I go Peter Yan, I go Ilia Topuria. Makhachev's right up there with those guys, all right? Except he's a more heavy wrestler, but he can strike. He can strike, he can kick, he can clinch. He is good at every asset of mixed martial arts and very high level at every single one of them. He's elite at grappling, but he's high level everywhere else. The guy is one of the best fighters on the planet easily, okay? And skill for skill, one of the best fighters on the planet easily, all right? Now, when you add that the fact that he has a lot of 5-round experience and he's had fights where he's had to fight adversity against Poirier, against Volkanovski, he is a very, very hard guy to beat, okay? Simple as that. Now, one thing about Makhachev is his defense is incredible. His striking defense is fantastic. His range management is fantastic. You're not going to blitz this guy and just hope to land a lucky shot on him because he's going to do one of two things. He's going to grab you and knee you in the clinch, or he's going to defend the strikes. The guy is so balanced and one of the best fighters on the planet for a reason, okay? Another thing in this matchup, size and strength. He'll have both of those in this fight, and I'm sure Khabib's got him going through some heavy wrestling defense, and he needs to be because Tsarukyan's a relentless guy. He'll be shooting a lot of takedowns, and look, Makhachev's going to be ready for him, okay? Like, Makhachev on the feet, that open stance against a guy like Tsarukyan, going to be there. The back leg, the southpaw, the rear kick, he loves that kick. It's going to be there. In that first fight, he got close with the head kick a couple of times, but some issues I have with Makhachev is when somebody's aggressive and they can defend takedowns, right? If somebody is like a Volkanovski, pressuring you, getting in the pocket, and finding you in the pocket, he doesn't do well in the pocket. That's what I worry about him. As well as, obviously he can grab the clinch, but he does lack defense in the clinch at times. You see Poirier go out there and rip the body. You've seen Volkanovski have success with the dirty boxing. Can Arman replicate that? That I don't know. Now, the squeeze on Makhachev is very, very good. The guy is so strong, and that's what I think plays dividends here. The clinch he's got the tie clinch, but he's also got judo throws, okay? The dude is as good as you can get. Simple as that, man. Like I said, the kicks, very, very good. The combinations on the feet, very good. The defense, very, very good, okay? And the counter-striking is a little bit of an underrated aspect, I think, that Makhachev has, okay? You see him versus Oliveira, counter-strikes a flying knee, knocks Oliveira down. You see him versus Volkanovski in the first fight, drop Volkanovski in the first, then come back in the second and land a big left counter shot on the chin of Volkanovski and wobbled him back. Now, he's had to fight adversity, and that's one thing I didn't mention here, which is only going to make him better, okay? He's 33 now. He's in my eyes, his prime, okay? And I do think that this is the last fight of Islam Makhachev at 155 pounds. I don't think he's going to fight here anymore. There's nothing else for him. He's cleared the division out. But he loves to kick the orthodox fighters, okay? And he's got to be careful a little bit because like a guy like Tsarukyan is going to catch the kick and advance the takedown. But I do think that when it comes to the striking of Makhachev, he is going to be the better guy here. And, yeah, man, that's going to be my breakdown for the champ of Islam Makhachev. I'm going to get right into my prediction. Islam Makhachev will defeat Arman Tsarukyan via 49-46 decision. Now, when I look at the odds of this fight, I know Makhachev is -3 something. No, I don't like that because I do think Arman is a very capable fighter of winning and definitely a future champ, in my opinion. But when you look at the matchup in hindsight, it's a very hard matchup for Tsarukyan, okay? To beat Islam Makhachev, you're going to have to make him uncomfortable. You're going to have to pressure him. You're going to have to be able to get into the pocket and rip combinations and, eventually go up to the head and hurt him, right? You can't just sit at range and not strike as often, okay? If you strike at range with Makhachev, you're not going to win, all right? Now, I do see Arman being aggressive with the wrestling, okay? But I don't think it's going to be enough to win this fight. I think that it will be neutralized by Makhachev. And to me, like I said, man, it's got to be on Arman. If he wants to win, he's got to be aggressive. He can't sit at range because he's not going to win, man. He can't. He's not the longer guy. He's not the better striker at range. He's not the guy, doesn't have the better footwork. He doesn't have anything better than Makhachev at range. Maybe it's speed, okay? But we've seen Volkanovski, who has more speed than Tsarukyan, get countered by Makhachev. So it's got to be on Arman to push the pace and try to work his way into the pocket. But even if he gets himself there, I don't think he's good enough with the boxing to go 1-1-2, right? I don't think he's good enough to do that. So to me, I think Makhachev will neutralize everything coming his way, work off the kicks, defend the takedowns, and possibly reverse him. And if Tsarukyan presses the action, he'll get met with the tie clinch and get kneed. I think Makhachev controls this fight, and that's the word I want to use here because of the range. I just think it's not going to, we're going to see Tsarukyan not be able to handle it, and he's going to shoot takedowns early, and he'll have success with it a little bit, but they'll get stuffed later on, and I think Makhachev's going to be able to land more shots at range, work off the jab, work off the rear kick, blast those kicks into the body, and, man, it's hard for me to see Tsarukyan go out there and put on an impressive performance and go out there and beat Makhachev. I don't think, anybody will beat Makhachev at 55. And if there is someone that beats him in the UFC, it's Bilal Muhammad. Like, I know I'm a little bit biased here, but when you look at it in hindsight, man, Bilal's a guy who can match the wrestling, probably one of the best defensive wrestlers in the UFC right now. He can pressure you and put you on the fence with the striking. He's got great cardio. I think Bilal's a guy who can go out there and beat Islam Makhachev, the worst matchup for him. But I don't think Tsarukyan's good enough. I don't think he is developed enough on the feet to give Makhachev a really hard fight. And yes, he's got good kicks, but that'll be neutralized. His best kicking is that front kick, the lead leg kick, which is open for you on the orthodox fighter, but it's not open for you on the southpaw in the open stance. The rear leg is. That's one of his best weapons, not going to be there in this fight. Another one of his better weapons is the left hook. Another strike that probably won't be there for him again. So for me, I think this is the hardest fight for Tsarukyan, absolutely, without a doubt. I just think that Makhachev can nullify everything on the ground and win the minutes on the feet, outstriking Tsarukyan. I don't really see him hurting him or getting a finish here, but Makhachev was a little bit close with the head kicks in the first fight, so maybe we'll take a look at that. But overall, man, Makhachev will get this one done pretty easily. I do like him to win this fight via a 49-46 decision. That's going to be it for me. I hope y'all boys enjoy.